Sincere McCormick, man. Not just the way he runs, which I love, but the story of it. Because it kind of looks like he's been a practice squad range player for a couple of years, and you really only get couple years, couple 3 years sometimes to be a practice squad guy before, if you don't get your shot or you do and you don't perform, then you kind of get pushed out of the league. I like that because the mindset it takes. It's really hard to be on practice squad. You're not getting paid a lot of money. At least when I was playing, maybe those guys were breaking right over 100 grand, and comparatively to all these guys making millions and millions of dollars, it's not like life-changing money for a lot of those guys, and they're out there just hoping to get their shot. And there's a lot that kind of has to go right or wrong, depending on how you look on it, injuries and things, for you to actually get your opportunity. And so to see, outside of preseason, getting in a real game, to see him have had to have stayed strong mentally to be ready to go out and ball that way. Because even if you're doing it in practice, you're doing great as a practice squad guy and you're balling, you're doing that. It's just, they're still not probably going to give you your chance just based on practice performance unless something opens up like injuries. So to see him go out there and do that, I love stories like that. Stories where guys had to have grit and fortitude and grind in the dark room for a while, and when they get their shot, they go for it. And he's running hard like his career depends on it, because it does. And I love seeing guys run hard in general. And he's plays big, and he's not big. No, I'll take that back. A lot of football guys will kind of 1-to-1 size and be like, oh, well, because I looked up his size on Wikipedia. I think he's listed at 5'9", but he was 5'8.5" at the combine, 205 pounds. 205 pounds on 5'8" and change, that's actually a pretty big dude. That's a compact, boulder, stocky dude. Especially because if he's a halfback, he's probably a pretty lean guy. You're not going to be carrying a lot of fat he's probably pretty lean, meaning he has a lot of muscle packed onto that frame, and he plays big. So he is big. It's not 1-to-1 in size in that. What I mean by that, say if you got two linebackers, they're both 6'3", 240, standing next to each other, you'll look at one and be like, that's a very different, that guy's way bigger, even though the scale doesn't say it. And even if the body fat is the same on both, you'll still look at one and be like, that the way the weight is proportioned, and since leaving the NFL, I've always been a big workout guy. I've learned about bodybuilding things and just body structure, and there's bone structure, there's length of limbs. Khalil Mack is a good example. I think I've talked about him before. He's maybe 6'2.5", I think. I think he was at the combine about 6'2.5", but he was like 270 pounds. But he's got legs that are probably up to my rib cage and super long arms. And so you would look, we're probably close to the same height. But you would look at him and us like, no, that dude's that's a big man. And he is a lot bigger than me too, weight-wise. But I'm just saying that if they're the same on the scale, it's not always the same. And that big doesn't always play the same way. But that dude plays big. Sincere McCormick, I sincerely like the way that he runs, pun intended. And love that, he got his shot and ran with it. And he deserves to, just the way he's running, the energy it brings beyond just the numbers. Going over 5 yards of carry and all that. He's running in a way that is bringing some energy and deserves more carries. Let's see what he can do with more carries. We got some injuries at the position. Let's just see what he does. I think he should get the ball more.